one C, but I can't go to the one star. But he falls back asleep after crying, whatever. And then he wakes up and he doesn't know if he's in a dream state or awake state. He sees bread on the table, and his great grandfather Baal Shem Tov comes and says, "Eat this bread." Right? So he goes to wash, comes back, looks in the bowl, and all he sees are letters. Aleph, Beis, Gimels, letters. And he's like, shucks, bracha lebatala. I can't make a motzi on, I made a motzi on this? Well, I can't make a motzi, I made a motzi on what? On letters?
With the letters made out of maybe the bread.
So Baal Shem said, no, that's the man, eat it. Ate it. Fine. And then he experienced some sort of state, and then out of his mouth came 2 loaves of bread shaped in the form of luchos. A reiteration of Torah came out of his mouth. That is the story. Now, he told the story to the people who were around him, and they said, shh, don't talk about it. Now, you could say generically that it meant everybody has the portion in Torah, right? Everybody has to reach, every Jew has their letter in the Torah, right? So it's as much to do with their dachman as it is with you and I. You know, you have to prepare yourself, and then Hashem will give you your portion of the Torah, and you'll be able to give it over to other people. It's simple. But if you're a Breslover, it means that the Torah was being reissued through Rinach. What does that mean? That means that he felt, which is what he said that what he revealed in the Kabbalah was the last revelations of Torah till Mashiach. He added a dimension in the Kabbalistic teachings that was the last addition until Mashiach will come, and Mashiach will then pick it up from there. So, look at that story. Luchos, Lechem, Man, Omer, letters, everything is in that story. Everything that we spoke about. And I told the joke on Friday, which I tell the joke over, I said that Shevuous, about the briskers. The briskers say, the briskers are very careful never to do anything. Everything is halacha. They don't say mitzvah gedola, lios b'simcha, like the Rabbi Nachman song. They sing simcha gedola, lios b'mitzvah. That's their version of the song. My friend Rabbi Yitzi Lichtenstein used to sing that, and he's now Rosh Hashiva in Torah. Okay? Simcha, that's a brisker song. It doesn't matter. Don't give me chasidus. Give me mitzvahs. Actions. So, they tell the joke about the briskers who were captured by terrorists, and they're going to have to die al Kiddush Hashem. They're going to have to die al Kiddush Hashem. They're going to kill them. So, they start to make the bracha. Oh, the bracha, they're arguing, is it L'Kadosh Hashem Shemayim? L'Kadosh Hashem. They're arguing which bracha it is. They finally come up with a solution. They say the bracha, and then the terrorists go, I'm not going to kill you. Right, so one guy is going over there, cut my head off. That's a brisker joke, I'm sorry. But, yeah, everything revolves around this constellation of ideas. And I'm going to see if I can't bring it together for you. First of all, I wanted to add something from Rabbi Wolf. What's that? Okay, because it adds to my shiur. You ready? The name Shevuous appears inside the Aseret Dibros. Gee, what a surprise. Coded. He was a master of biblical codes. So here you see Shevuous. You have the camera here. Written without the vav. Now the vav is important because how big were the luchos? They were vav tvachim, right? Vav tvachim. So it's implicit. If it's in the luchos, you have the vav. You get it? Because it's in there already. So as if you have the vav, you don't need an extra vav. But you have Shevuot going backwards. In the first time the Aseret appears in 2 parshios, right? One in Parshas Yisro, in Shmos. And second time, Parshas Vayischanan in Dvarim. You have the 2 iterations of Matan Torah with the 2 Aseret Dibros, slightly different versions. But here in Pasuk Tes in Perek Chav, it says, "V'yom hashvi'i Shabbat la'Hashem Elokecha lo saseh kol melacha right? Ata, the taf of ata. Uvincha, uvitecha, avdecha, there's an ayin, right? Vamascha, uvihemtecha, the vase of behema. V'gercha, asher bisharecha. That is where Shevuous is coded in at intervals, so you can count the letters in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plus Shevuous is 10. 10 commandments. 9 plus. Shevuous is in the mitzvah of Shabbos, coded in at intervals of 9 letters. What about the second divorce? You would think it would appear where? Also in Shabbos, but the second divorce is a slightly different version, a different wording. Right? It doesn't appear there at all. It appears...
The same letters?
The word Shavuot. Yeah, backwards. Same exact spelling. Shin, Taf, Ayin. That appears in the final dibur. V'lo sachmod eishes re'echa. V'lo tis'ave, this is where it's different in Torah. Lo tis'ave beit re'echa. Do not, desire the house of your friend. The second taf of tit'ave, beit re'echa ayin. Sadehu, don't want his field. Right? V'avdo, don't covet his slave. Right? Ve'amato, or his maidservant. Right? Right? Shoro, his animal, that's the shin of Shevuous. V'chamoro, his donkey. Don't look at this guy and say, wow, he's got a really nice house. What a view. Duplex, parking, everything. And then I don't want, don't look at his house, and then don't look at his property. He's got land, he's got property, and then he's got helpers, he's got staff. And look at his car, Shora v'chamoro, those were the cars, and these were the factories. Look at what everybody has. Now, there the skip is, how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7. Shevuos, 7. It's almost like the first Shevuos is connected to the Aseres HaDibros, but the second Shevuos is counted to the real Shevuos, the period that we move from, right, the 7 weeks till we get to Shevuos. Why is it Lo Sachmo? Why wouldn't it stick around in Shabbos? So here's my theory. Ready? So I'm adding on to Torah. One is the beginning and one is the end. Shevuos is a beginning period. We count towards Shevuos starting with the beginning of Shevuos Omer. We end. This is the end. This is Devarim. We're going into Eretz Yisrael. Everything about the second Dibros, by the way, any minor change between the suits is the whole Shiur. I would love to give this Shiur to Shem. We'll get there. When we get to the difference, the minor differences, letters and words between the two Dibros are all predicated on one is talking to the Jews who just left Mitzrayim, and one is talking to the Jews who are about to go and build Eretz Yisrael. Practical. We talk here about houses and fields and oxes and donkeys because this is real. So therefore, as it turns into reality, that's the end of Shevuos. And that's why it's the end of the Dibros. And that's why it's the most practical of the physical aspects of the Dibros. That's ethereal. It's practical, but it's conceptual. But not wanting this guy's ox is very minute. It's you and him and his ox. It's not a global idea. It's your house. So that's the idea. Now, just have to touch one more point. What is the connection here between the mun? How does the mun fit in over here? So we know that you could read that word one of two ways. It's either Haman or Haman. right? It's either gonna give us life in the face of a brutal desert, or in the opulence of Shushan, take our life. They are actually reciprocal ideas. Man and Haman, they're opposites, they're polar opposites. Okay, so now, what do we do on Purim to Haman? Besides boo him, we don't only hang him, what do we also do?
His sons also.
We eat him.
Oh my gosh.
He becomes lachmeinu, he becomes our food. And now, what do we call that? Haman Tush. So I read that Haman Tush is to tush, to weaken Haman, to destroy Haman. Who is Haman, really? So the Gemara asks, Haman min ha-Torah minayin. Where's the source for Haman? Go back to the Garden of Eden. Go back to Adam and Chava. Hamin ha'etz hazeh. He says lashon hara about Hashem. He says, Hashem told you don't eat this tree. Don't believe him. It's got, he says it's all a bad idea. He's trying to withhold you from being, lashon hara. Which part of Haman do we eat? His ears.
That's what we heard.
His ears. Why the ears? Because the main thing of the Nachash was the lashon hara that he put into her ears. We eat the ears. We destroy them. To eat is to destroy.
But we internalize that's...
When you eat something, you've taken it over. It's now part of you. You've absorbed it. That's why the word, and this is really the main point, and we'll conclude with this concept, is, well, who are we really battling against? We're battling against Haman Amalek, Yetzer Hara. They're the ones that prevent the Aseres HaDibros from going from Luchos to Chalos. But it doesn't take long. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up to get the Luchos. In comes the Satan and causes Avodah Zarah, one of the three primary Averos that a person has to give his life for. And we spoke about this a little bit last time. And it's a deep thought, but it's too much for right now. But it runs very deep. The essential three people in Gan Eden each experience one of the three essential problems that Jews have to give their life for, and without which there's no purpose for the Jewish people. Right? Gilui Arayos, Shvichus Damim, and Avodah Zarah. Where do you see that? Where do you see that in Adam Chava and the Nachash?
The Nachash desired.
That's right.
So that's the Arayos.
Right.
And Shvichus Damim, never.
No, that was really Chava. Literally, the woman is a shofech damim, really, literally, and her job is to give life. That's her tikkun, is to give life, right?
So she wanted him to
And what happens? The dam stops and turns into the way Chazal conceptualize it, which is a little bit unusual, but it is the meaning of it. He says a woman can be in a state of shofech dam or nursing, either one. Right? If she is not in a state of nursing, she's in the other state. If she's giving life, she's sustaining life. Right? So when we have a state where she's giving chalav, that's the ideal state. That's why one of the chalos has to be what? On Shevuous. One of the chalos is supposed to be eaten with what kind of meal? A milchik meal. And the other one with the fleishik meal. Because the two chalos on a deeper level represent Adam and Chava. Now you really know what it's all about. It's Adam and Chava. Because when it says that Chava gave Adam to eat and caused his mortality, the Medrash says she destroyed the challah of the world. Because you know how challah, you form challah? Hashem formed Adam from the earth just like a challah. Hashem braided him into a challah, and she ruined it. So that's why the woman has three unique mitzvahs. What are her three unique mitzvahs? Nida, challah, and hadlakas haner. Don't have time for it right now, but those three mitzvahs counteract the three big averos, and said, Rabbi Gedalia Schwartz, I mentioned this very briefly, the whole purpose of the Yom Tovim and of Klal Yisrael in general is to right that wrong. We are here to fix the problems that mankind suffered from the beginning of the God. And if we don't do it, ain't nobody going to do it. And that's why a Jew who's confronted with these three averos and doesn't, in the circumstances where it's him or nothing, you say, I'm only here because we're here to fix those three problems. Therefore, our Jewish life cannot stand in a place where those three problems are going to dominate and control. So the good side of it is, the reverse of those things are the three things on which the world stands. Al Shloshah Dvarim Olam Omer, Al HaTorah, Al HaAvoda, Al Gmilas Chasadim. The anti-Gmilas Chasadim is murder. Right? Shvichus Dam. The anti-Avodah Zarah is Avodah, serve Hashem. Right? And the anti-Gilui Arayos is Torah. Because Torah is the Kedushin between Hashem and the Jewish people. Torah is the concepts that tell us how to sanctify life, how to take human drives and make them holy. And that's why we have three Yom Tovim, says Rabbi Yeshua. Pesach, Shevuous, and Sukkot. Each one has a different job. Pesach, to counteract the Avodah Zarah. We can count Pesach. Shevuous, Torah, against Arayot. Men and women had to separate for those 3 days. It gives us boundaries. It gives us Gevulim. You couldn't run up to Har Sinai and do whatever you wanted. You had to have boundaries. And that's against the Arayot. And then Sukkot is Gemilut Chasadim. Now, Rus arrives in Beit Lechem. Beit Lechem. Beit. Lo Sisave. Beit Reacha. That's what we speak about the bread. In the Bayit, where else should bread be? When you dedicate a house, you bring a loaf of bread. When you see a king, you bring a loaf of bread and salt. So, that is the covenant. She arrives at the time of the Ksiras HaOmer, of the Sa'orim. But she sticks around through the Sphira period till, it says Beferish Napasach, till the time of the collection of the wheat. Because she and Boaz saw to it that there would be a David Melech in the world to finish the process of fixing Adam and which is what Elimelech and Naomi were supposed to do. But it ended up being Naomi through Rus and Elimelech through Boaz. They got the job done. Okay? Now, just to conclude, every lechem in the world, according to Hirsch, does not mean bread. It means battle. A lochem is a warrior. You say, okay, how would you call somebody who's a fighter? Somebody called a lochem. What do you mean? He's a bread? There are breaders? What? Chayal. Right? But even that's a chala. Right? So what's going on over here? Says Rav Hirsch in his epic sefer, Perush on the Torah. He says, does not mean you're going to go out and win your. He says when you win your daily bread, you're in a war. You're in the war of society, the dog-eat-dog world, where it's me versus you. Another word for bread, says Rav Hirsch, is teref. Right? Teref literally means to tear. I'll tell you, teref is what a wolf does. Right? Taruf Yosef, but we said Binyamin Zev Yitraf, right? And then David is from where? From Beit Lechem. Those are the two words. Mashiach ben Yosef, Teref. Mashiach ben David, Lechem. That is the struggle. Is a humongous war going on. Where's the war? It goes on inside of each and every one of us. It's us and the Yetzer Hara. Either we're going to eat Haman or Haman's going to eat us. The last thing that happened in the death of before Haman died is on the night of the Seder. Okay? He goes to scope out whether Mordechai's around, because in the morning he's going to hang him. And he finds him sitting and learning which halachos. Omer Megillah tells us the laws of Sfiras HaOmer. With how many children? 22,000 children. And he says to him, what are you doing? You think this is going to help you? Why 22,000 children? Because the minimum amount of Jews in the world. If there's not 22,000 innocent, pure Jews learning Torah, there is no world.
It's 22.
How do we know that? Because it says Vahibin Sa'aron, coming up this week's Parsha. Vahibin Sa'aron. Vayom Moshe, Kum Hashem, Rivivos Alfei Yisrael. Hashem, rise, because you have within your world, Rivava is 10,000. Rivivos is 20,000. Alfei is, minimum is 22,000. If we don't have 22,000, corresponding to the Aleph, Beis letters of the Luchos, if we don't have any real living letters of little Kindlech learning Torah, there is no world. There is no hope for the world, says Haman. I'm going to kill those little kids, and then I'm going to kill you. Next morning shows up on the horse, and Mordechai thinks he's done for. He's leading him to the gallows. He says, no. You get up on the horse. The Gemara shows the degradation of Haman. He ate Haman from that point on. Anyway, so the bottom line is that as we wrap up this inning of Shevuous, it's really the story of how the Luchos become Chalos. How we move from the low, degraded state that's represented by Sa'orim, the lowest animal form of food, until we move to divine food. And it's really Toda, thanking Hashem. Lachmei Toda. That's why it's Chametz. It's the only carbon that's Chametz, because we've reached the end of the road. We've reached the Gashmiut. And that's where we have come through in this period of time. Now it's our job to go out and do it over and over. To win our daily bread, as it were. To eat the letters and have come out of our mouth in the forms of holy.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, how big was